Hi students. So today we are going to start one more tutorial on optimization, and today I'm going to talk about gradient descent in one dimension. Now this is an important topic because sometimes people ask what is the relationship between optimization and machine learning, and one of the common correct connecting issues is that of gradient descent. So we are going to discuss that today. I'm Dr. Ganguly. Now, in today's tutorial, you are going to learn about the gradient descent method in its one-dimensional form. That is, we are going to look at one-dimensional functions and try to minimize them. We are also going to look at the importance of step size, and this is a key to understand the main connection between optimization and machine learning. And we are going to write some Python code to not only solve these problems but also to plot something. So again, Python is a very useful language because it not only lets you do scientific computing, but it also lets you make various figures and plots which you can look at and get a good idea about how curves, how different issues look like in a particular problem. Now, coming to the steepest descent method, you know the general direct search algorithm has the form xk plus 1 equals xk plus alpha k dk, where dk is the search direction, alpha k is the step size, xk is the current point of design variables, and xk plus 1 is the next point of design variables. And in the steepest descent method or the gradient descent method, we say that the search direction dk equals minus ck, where ck is the gradient vector. So essentially the negative of the gradient vector is the search direction. Now, if you are interested in theory, you should look at optimization lecture 13 on steepest descent method. Now let's try to put this method in its one-dimensional form. So again, we have the direct search algorithm given here. We have the steepest descent search direction given in pink. Now, if we combine these two equations, we get this equation here, which is xk plus 1 equals xk minus alpha k ck. So this is essentially the gradient descent algorithm. And if we want to express this in its one-dimensional form, we can simply write xk plus 1 equals xk minus alpha k into f dash xk. So what happens in one dimension is that the gradient vector simply becomes the derivative of the function at the point xk. Now this will of course give you the path or the trajectory of the points when you are doing gradient descent in one dimension. Now what happens in machine learning is that we essentially say that this alpha k is typically a constant value, and we denote it by this sign or this notation, which is the Greek letter eta, and this is known as the learning rate. So that's the key difference between optimization and machine learning. Now if we want to again make it explicitly clear, we have the general equation given here for the one-dimensional gradient descent, and we can consider alpha to be varying with k, or we can consider it to be constant. Now there are different algorithms different people have proposed for alpha as a function of k, but the simplest form would be alpha is simply a constant, and that's what we are going to consider today. And if we replace the letter alpha by the letter eta, then we essentially move from optimization to machine learning. So that's the key difference in nomenclature. The math is more or less similar. So let's start with our Python programs to check out how this gradient descent works. So the first question is to write a Python program for one-dimensional gradient descent method, and we are expected to check convergence of this method for different values of the step size or the learning rate. These are 0.3, 0.4, 0.5, and 0.7. So I have selected these four numbers specifically. What you're going to see is that how the learning rate has an impact on the convergence. Again, we are going to consider this relatively simple function, that is x squared plus e to the power minus x, and we are going to start from the point x0 is 5. So let's first look at the math so that we know the minimum point. So again, you have the function, so we can find the derivative of the function and set it to 0. That's the standard thing we know from calculus about finding the stationary point of a function. Now if we look at this equation can be solved in an explicit manner in this case. So we can write this equation as e to the power minus x is 2x, which I can write as 1 equals 2x e to the power x, and then I can write x e to the power x is half. Now, if you know of something known as the Lambert W function, then you can simplify this equation here. So what the Lambert W function does is that when it acts on some expression of the form a e to the power a, it simply gives you a. So let's take the Lambert W function on both sides of this equation here. So we get here w x e to the power x equals w half. And so the left hand side by virtue of this definition here simply becomes x, or we can say x star, the optimal point, and that's the value of the Lambert W function at the point half. Now you can very simply find this function in any tool out there, for example in Wolfram alpha, and then you can know the value is 0.351734. Again, check out optimization tutorial 3 for the full explanation of this particular optimization problem using pure mathematics. Now let's turn to Python. So we now have to develop two simple functions which codify the math function and the gradient vector. So you can see the math function is simply x square plus e to the power minus x. So I have returned this here in this function which is defined as f of x. So it returns x square plus e to the power minus x. Remember, I need to bring numpy here in Python to get access to the exponential function. Now similarly, I have def dfx. This is the derivative function, and this gives me 2x minus e to the power minus x. So it's simply the derivative of this function here. Now let's write a simple function for the gradient descent method. So in this function, what happens? X0, the initial point goes in. We have tolerance, which is a small number, which is used to check the convergence of the method. Max is a large number which we put in the for loop, and then we have alpha, which is the learning rate or the one-dimensional step size. We start by setting x is x0, and then we have a for loop here. The range of the for loop is I in range max here, where I mentioned max is a large number. Now initially I start by printing out I, x and f of x, and then we have this simple one line code here, that is x is x minus alpha into dfx. So this is the Python representation of this math here, that is xk plus 1 equals xk minus alpha f dash xk. So that's written out here. Now we monitor the fact that if the absolute value of the derivative at that point x becomes very small, then we can say we have converged. Remember the definition of the stationary point, and we can return x here, and again we can return x here in case we have gone through this complete max cycle for the for loop. So essentially this function is going to return to us the x vector or the x value corresponding to the minimum point. So let's now look at the main program. In the main program, we have to import numpy as np. We have defined max as 1000, tall as 0.401, and x0 as 5, which is the starting point. We also give a value of alpha as 0.3. This is the step size or the learning rate. And then I basically call the gradient descent 1D function, and I put the value which is being returned in x star. So hopefully this should be the converged value for that particular problem. I send in x0, tall, max and alpha, and finally I print out the converged x and x star here. Let's now run this program and see what happens. So I first run it for alpha is 0.3 and x0 is 5, like I showed in the slide before, and you can see this program runs in this manner here. So essentially it starts out from x is 5, and then it converges to the optimal point, which is 0.3517, which you know from this exact solution here. So again we have converged, and it has taken us I is 0 to I is 9 to converge here, and the function value has also settled down to a specific number. Let's now change the value of alpha to 0.4. So at 0.4 the learning rate is actually better, because you can see the convergence is relatively faster. So from I is 0 to 4 we have essentially converged to the minimum point. Let's now start with 0.5. Now again at 0.5 you see it takes more time to converge, so you go from I is 0 to 12, but we do converge to the optimal point here also of 0.3517. Now, a very interesting point happens is that if I increase alpha to a certain value, and I found a value at approximately 0.7, where this does not converge. So you can see divergence here. You can see that I is going up and the vector x starts increasing, and of course what's going to happen is that the various exponential functions in the problem we have posed, they will blow up, and therefore there is a divergence for this particular algorithm. So this is interesting. You won't see it in many books out there how the method can diverge, but do remember that if you increase alpha too much, then you may have divergence as far as the 1D gradient descent is involved. Let's now take a more scientific view of this problem. We are going to look at various learning rates, and then the question is to plot the number of iterations it takes to converge versus learning rate for 1D gradient descent. And again, we are going to consider the problem fx is x square plus e to the power minus x and x0 is 5. So let's try to do this entire thing in Python. We are not going to use any Excel here. So I'm going to slightly modify the gradient descent function because now I'm no longer interested in the value of x or x star. Instead, I am interested in the value of I at which we converge. So essentially what happens is that I have the same for loop here, and then if I have converged, that is when the absolute value of the derivative at x is less than tolerance, the small number, then I simply return I, which is the number of times it took to converge as far as the for loop is concerned, and then I return I here also. Now, of course, you know that as far as the math in this code is concerned, it's simply xk plus 1 is xk minus alpha f dash x of k, which is given here. Now we need to modify the main program slightly to bring in some functions which help us in plotting. So the first thing we have to do is import matplotlib.plot as plt. And then what I do is I create a vector called ivec. I basically create a list. So this is blank list when I start this process. I also create an alpha list of the various values of alpha which I'm going to run the code with. And I choose these values from 0.05 to 0.68. So I found that if I went to 0.69, essentially the code diverged. So these are the set of values within which you converge. Of course, you can go to a smaller value than this. You can go to 0.001 also. It's going to take a lot of time to converge. When you go small on alpha, you have a problem in terms of the amount of time it takes to converge, but converge you will after some time. But when you go too large for this value of alpha, you actually encounter divergence problems. So in general, it's a good idea to take small values as far as alpha is concerned. There is a theorem out there in gradient descent that if alpha is small, sufficiently small, then you are going to converge in all cases. But again, the exact nature of the alpha has to be figured out. So anyway, we are doing this here in terms of some parametric study. So let's do that. So the next thing I do is I define this for loop. So I essentially loop on all the values which are there in the alpha list, and I invoke the gradient descent function for each value alpha, and I get I star or the value of I at which it has converged for each case, and then I simply append these values of I star to the ivec vector. So I'm building that vector up. And once this whole for loop has been done, I print out the ivec vector, and then I plot alpha list, which is this list here, for the values of the alpha values of one-dimensional step size or learning rate. And I have on the y-axis ivec, which is essentially this vector here for the I star values at which we have converged, and then I simply print these out, and then we are going to look at the plot next. So again, Python lets us plot this list in a very simple manner. So one of the advantages of programming in Python as opposed to many classical languages is that you can simultaneously do the math as well as plot the function. So in some ways this is like MATLAB. So again, if you are somebody who is used to MATLAB, you will certainly enjoy Python also. Now this is the vector ivec which is printed out. So you can clearly see here that this goes down as far as the numbers are concerned, and then it goes up again. So you can see that same trend here. When the learning rate is extremely small, it takes a very long time to converge, but like I mentioned, converge it does. But as you go up to a certain point, the number of iterations starts going up, and beyond this point, that is at 69 and further, I actually found that there is divergence here. So in fact, as far as gradient descent is concerned, at least in this problem, we cannot use values of alpha such as 0.8, such as 1, and so on. The learning rate parameter or the step size is actually required. So it's not like the Newton method, which may sometime work with a unit value as far as the one-dimensional step size is concerned. So you can clearly see that the minima here is somewhere near 0.4. So that's probably one of the optimal values as far as this function and this problem is concerned. But if you are thinking of it in terms of practicality, you could possibly choose any value between 0.1 and 0.6 and get convergence. So this is the thought process behind gradient descent in machine learning. You do not bother too much about the one-dimensional step size or the learning rate. You simply pick a reasonable learning rate, sufficiently small but also sufficiently large, such that your minimization problem converges and you get the optimal solution as far as your neural network or any other function minimization problem is involved. So let us conclude some of the things we learned today. We looked at one-dimensional gradient search and we saw the importance of step size in the one-dimensional gradient search, and you can also think of this as the learning rate for the problem. And we saw the similarity between optimization and machine learning. Now again, remember this is the classical steepest descent algorithm. dk is minus ck, and in one-dimensional form it can be written in this manner: xk plus 1 is xk minus alpha k f dash xk. And if we put this alpha k is a constant value eta across all values of k, then we have something known as a learning rate, which is widely used in machine learning. So again, take a look at optimization lecture 13, steepest descent method, to clarify some of the concepts on that particular theory, and also look at the prior tutorials, that is tutorial 13, tutorial 13a, b, to further solidify your knowledge on the gradient based methods and the gradient descent method, which is ubiquitous in machine learning and optimization. And I will see you in a video sometime soon. See you then.